Ma'am, you need to come with me, now.
What? Let go! I didn't do anything!
Quiet, you're causing a scene.
Please, this is a mistake! Help me! What's happening? Look at her!
Keep moving. This way.
Please, everyone is staring. What a disgrace. Who let her in? Finally, they're removing her.
The hand on my arm wasn't gentle. It was a grip, firm, intentional, and everyone saw it. 1 second I was standing in the most beautiful ballroom I'd ever been in. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, women in gowns that cost more than my rent. The next second I was being walked toward the door like I was nobody, like I was nothing. "Mom, you need to leave." His voice was loud enough for the whole room to hear. And they all turned, every single one of them. Champagne glasses frozen mid-air, conversations dead, eyes on me. I felt my face go hot. What I didn't know and what I couldn't have known was that someone was watching from the top of the grand staircase. Still, quiet, dangerous. He'd seen everything. And he already knew something about me that I didn't even know about myself yet. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how I even ended up in that building. My name is Zara. I'm 28. I'm from Atlanta originally, though I've been in Chicago for 6 years now. I work at Maison Noire, one of those upscale restaurants where the menu has no prices and the lighting is always dim enough to hide secrets. I'm a server. I'm good at my job. I smile when I need to. I disappear when I need to. I've learned that rich people like to feel like the room exists for them, so I let them feel that. 3 weeks before the gala, I got a call from my manager. "There's a private event. Han Group is hosting a charity gala at their tower downtown. They've requested staff from us specifically. The pay is triple rate. You interested?" Triple rate. I said yes before he finished the sentence. I should have asked more questions. That was my first mistake. The night of the gala, I showed up in my uniform. Black dress, hair pinned back, professional, clean. The building was something else. Glass and steel rising 60 floors into the Chicago sky. The lobby alone looked like a museum. Marble floors. A water feature that had to cost $1 million. Security at every door. We were briefed quickly. Stay in our lanes. Don't engage with guests unless spoken to. Don't ask questions. Don't take photos. Simple enough. The event was on the 40th floor. A full ballroom, open bar, live string quartet. Tables set with gold cutlery and candles that smelled like something expensive I couldn't name. For the first hour, everything was fine. I moved through the crowd, offered champagne, smiled, stayed invisible the way I was supposed to. Then I made a wrong turn. I was looking for the kitchen. I took a left instead of a right. I ended up in a hallway I wasn't supposed to be in. Quieter. Darker. And at the end of it, a door was slightly open. I heard voices inside. I wasn't trying to listen. I promise you I wasn't. But one sentence floated out clearly. The Carter estate transfer has to happen before midnight. Don't let anyone interfere. I froze. Carter. That was my mother's name. My late mother's name. I told myself it was a coincidence. Carter is not that uncommon. I told myself to keep moving. Get back to the ballroom. Do your job, Zara. And I turned around. But someone was already standing behind me. He was maybe 40, silver at his temples, dark suit, the kind of face that had never once looked uncertain about anything. He looked at me like I was a problem he needed to solve immediately. "Who are you?" "I'm with the catering staff. I took a wrong turn, I'm sorry." "Get her out." He didn't even raise his voice. He just said it. Flat, final, like I was a stain on the carpet. 2 security guards appeared from nowhere, one on each side of me. I didn't resist. I just walked. What else was I going to do? Argue? With 2 men built like refrigerators in a building I didn't belong in? They walked me back through the ballroom. The entire room watched. Every single person. The music didn't stop, but it might as well have. The energy shifted the second we appeared. Heads turned, whispers started. I heard a woman laugh. That quiet, cruel laugh that rich women do when they want you to know they're laughing at you. My face was burning, my eyes were stinging. I was not going to cry. I refused. They pushed open the main doors and walked me to the elevator. Your employment here is terminated. Do not return. The elevator doors closed, and I stood there alone, going down 40 floors. If you've ever been thrown away like you were nothing, subscribe right now, because what happens next, it changes everything. I got to the lobby. I collected my bag from the coat check. I kept my face blank because there were cameras everywhere and I still had my dignity. I walked outside into the cold Chicago night, and I just stood there. Because something was wrong, not with the humiliation, as awful as that was. Something else was wrong. Something I couldn't shake. The Carter estate transfer. I pulled out my phone and called the one person I should have called 6 months ago, my grandmother. She picked up on the second ring. Zara, baby. Grandma, tell me about Mama's estate. Silence. The kind of silence that confirms everything you were afraid to ask. Grandma, where are you right now? I'm outside the Han Tower. Why is that name connected to Mama's estate? What is the Han Group? What am I not being told? She took a long breath. Come home, baby. There are things I should have told you a long time ago. I stood on that sidewalk in the freezing Chicago cold, and I felt something shift inside me. Not anger yet, just understanding. I'd been kept in the dark, and someone tonight had been very motivated to keep me that way. I called an Uber. I was halfway to my grandmother's apartment when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. I answered. Ms. Carter. Male voice. Deep. Controlled. Accented slightly. Korean. I recognized it from years of working at Maison Noire. Who is this? My name is Han Jae-won. I own the building you were just removed from. My blood went cold. Are you calling to apologize because... I'm calling because what happened tonight was not authorized by me. And because we need to talk. I don't think we have anything to talk about. Your mother was Diane Carter. I went completely still. Your grandfather was James Carter. He built the first Carter Holdings portfolio in 1987. When he died, everything passed to your mother. When your mother died 4 years ago, he paused. Ms. Carter, are you aware that you are the sole heir to a real estate holding company valued at approximately $340 million? I heard the words. I heard every single one of them, but they didn't make sense. That's not possible. It is, and certain people who have been managing those assets in your absence, have been very motivated to ensure you never found out. Comment below right now. What would you have done in that moment? Would you have hung up or kept listening? I kept listening. He talked for 12 minutes. I stood outside my grandmother's building in the cold, and I didn't move once. The outline of it was this. My grandfather, James Carter, had built his wealth quietly. Real estate, industrial properties, a few strategic investments. He didn't live flashy. He didn't advertise. He gave to his church and his community, and he kept his name out of newspapers. When he died, everything went to my mother, Diane. My mother was brilliant. She expanded the portfolio, she hired advisors, she negotiated deals that men twice her age couldn't close. But she had a secret. She had been sick for almost 2 years before she told anyone. And in those 2 years, someone had gotten close to her. A financial advisor. A man named David Seo who worked adjacent to the Han Group's legal team. He had convinced my mother to restructure the holdings into a trust. He had convinced her it would protect me, that it would ensure I inherited cleanly. What it actually did was give David Seo's firm control of the assets during the transition period. A period that had somehow, through legal manipulation, stretched into 4 years. My 4 years of not knowing I was rich. My 4 years of double shifts and rent anxiety and counting tips. Ms. Carter, tonight was supposed to be the final transfer, the point at which the trust expired and legal ownership reverted to David Seo's holding company permanently. Midnight tonight. I looked at my phone. It was 11:14 p.m. Why are you telling me this? Because I've known about this situation for 3 months. I've been building the legal case to stop it, but I needed the heir present, in the building, as a legal witness to contest the transfer. So when your security threw me out, it was David Seo's people, not mine. They knew who you were the moment you walked in. You weren't a random server, Ms. Carter. You were assigned to that event by someone who wanted you present, but controllable. I don't yet know who arranged that. My head was spinning. What happens at midnight? If we don't file a formal contestation with you present and verified, you lose everything your mother built, forever. I looked up at the building where my grandmother lived. I thought about my mother, her voice, her hands, the way she used to say, "Baby girl, you come from something. Don't ever let the world convince you otherwise." I thought about 4 years of being nobody. I thought about that woman in the ballroom who laughed when I was walked out. And something hardened in me. Send me a car. The car was there in 4 minutes, black, quiet, fast. I was back at Han Tower by 11:31 p.m. This time nobody stopped me at the door. Jae-won met me in the lobby himself. He was taller than I expected, serious face, eyes that calculated everything in the room before he said a word. He was the kind of man who made you feel like you were already 3 moves behind just by standing near him. He extended his hand. "I'm sorry about what happened earlier tonight. You can apologize properly once this is handled." Something moved in his expression. It wasn't quite a smile, but it was close. Agreed. We took a private elevator to the 52nd floor. His legal team was already assembled. 3 attorneys, laptops open, documents ready. David Seo was there too. When he saw me walk in, his face went through about 5 different emotions in 2 seconds. Surprise, calculation. Then that particular kind of smile that people use when they're scared but trying not to show it. Zara. What a coincidence. Don't. I sat down. Walk me through what needs to be signed. Jae-won's lead attorney placed a document in front of me. This is a formal contestation of the trust transfer, citing manipulation of a minor beneficiary. You were 24 when the trust was created, which qualifies under Illinois statute, and breach of fiduciary duty. Your signature, combined with the evidence Mr. Han's team has assembled, freezes the transfer immediately and opens a full legal review. I picked up the pen. David Seo stepped forward. Zara, you don't understand the full picture here. Your mother wanted. My mother wanted me taken care of. I looked at him. She didn't want me kept in the dark for 4 years while someone else spent her money. Now wait a minute. It's 11:48. Jae-won's voice was quiet. Absolute. Sit down, David. Or my security team will help you. David Seo sat down. I signed the document. 11:51 p.m. 9 minutes to spare. The room was quiet for a moment after the filing was sent. Then one of the attorneys exhaled. Another closed his laptop. Jae-won stood at the window looking out at the Chicago skyline, his hands clasped behind his back. David Seo was escorted from the room by 2 security personnel who appeared to have been waiting for exactly this moment. He didn't say another word, he just walked out. And it was over. I sat in that chair for a long moment, just breathing. 4 years. 4 years of waking up tired, of choosing between groceries and bills, of telling myself to be grateful for what I had, while someone else was living off what should have been mine. I thought about my mother. I thought about the first time I served champagne to a table of people who didn't see me. The way I learned to make myself small. The way I'd gotten so good at disappearing. My mother would have been furious. She raised me to take up space, and I'd spent 4 years shrinking. That was done now. Jae-won turned from the window. Are you all right? I'll let you know tomorrow. He almost smiled again, same as before. Almost. There's a lot to navigate from here. The legal review will take months. The asset restructuring. I'll need my own attorneys. Obviously. People you didn't choose. He nodded. Also obvious. I stood up, picked up my bag, looked around the room that 1 hour ago I'd been thrown out of. Why did you help me? He was quiet for a moment. Your mother approached my father 15 years ago with a joint investment opportunity. He turned her down. He said later it was the worst business decision he ever made, that she was the sharpest mind he'd encountered in 20 years. He paused. When I found out what David Seo had done, what he was still doing, I couldn't let it stand. That's a very clean answer. It's the honest one. I looked at him for a long moment. Okay. I walked toward the elevator. Miss Carter, I stopped. The man who had you removed tonight. He was David Seo's plant on our events team. He's been terminated. I wanted you to know that. I thought about the ballroom, the eyes, the laughter, the elevator doors closing. It doesn't erase it. I know. But thank you for saying it. My grandmother cried when I told her. She sat at her kitchen table with her hands wrapped around a mug of tea, and she cried quietly for a long time. Then she looked up at me. Your mama tried to protect you. She thought the trust was the right thing. She trusted the wrong person. I know, Grandma. She would be so proud of you tonight. I thought about signing that document, the pen in my hand, 9 minutes on the clock. I thought about walking back into that building after being thrown out of it. Nobody gave me the power to do that. I already had it. I just had to walk back in. Over the next several months, everything changed. The legal review uncovered 4 years of mismanagement. David Seo's firm was dissolved. 3 of his associates faced charges. Every asset that had been in limbo was returned to its rightful place, under my name. I still work at Maison Noire sometimes, not because I have to, because I like the people. I like the work. And I never want to forget what it felt like to be invisible in a room where I actually belonged. Jae-won and I crossed paths again, many times. That's a longer story. What I'll tell you is this. He's not an easy man. He's controlled and careful, and there are parts of him that are locked in ways I don't fully understand yet. But the night he could have stayed at the top of that staircase and done nothing, he came down. That means something. I don't know exactly what yet, but I intend to find out. As for the man who had me removed, who gripped my arm in front of all those people and walked me toward the door like I was a problem to be solved, he found out who I was 3 weeks later when the story hit the legal news circuit. He called the restaurant to apologize. My manager told him I wasn't available. I was in a meeting, in my mother's building, at the head of the table, where I belonged all along. If you've ever been underestimated, thrown out, pushed aside, told you didn't belong somewhere, and then proved every single one of them wrong, this story was for you. Drop your city in the comments right now. I want to know where my people are watching from. And if you're new here, subscribe. New stories drop every week. Stories about women who get knocked down and come back with everything. I'll see you in the next one.